Over the past 4 years, I've gotten 15 different credit cards, some of which I've gotten a lot of value out of and still use today, and some of which I didn't get as much value as I had initially hoped, and so I've decided to cancel. So in this video, I'm going to go through and rank every single one of my credit cards because I think in doing so, it's going to help you determine which credit cards you should actually get. And I think learning from other people's experiences can be a great way to form your own thoughts on which credit cards should be the most valuable to you personally. So as always, we're just going to hop right into the video, but really quick before I do that, if you do enjoy videos just like this one, then do me a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe down below because it's a free and easy way to help support my channel. So in terms of my ranking system and how I'm going to rank each of my credit cards, I'm going to rank them from S tier to D tier. So S tier is the absolute best, A tier is really, really good, B tier is above average, C tier is average, and then D tier is below average. I luckily have not applied for any dumpster level tier cards, so I won't be including that tier in this video, but it's going to be from S tier down to D tier. In this video, I'm going to go in order of when I actually applied and received each of these credit cards, and I'll even include credit cards that I've actually already canceled, so like the American Express Business Gold Card and the Hilton Business Card, just to give a full overview of my entire credit card picture. And then for each of the credit cards that I'm going to be discussing, I'm going to discuss why I applied, the core details on those cards, if I still use that card in current day, and then my ranking for that card and why I ranked it how I did. So the first credit card that I ever got was the Alaska Airlines credit card. In terms of why I applied for the Alaska Airlines card, this was pre knowing very much about credit cards at all. So I kind of just went based off what my parents' advice was. So since I live in the Seattle area, the Alaska card is a really popular card to get, and I saw a lot of other people that were getting it. So I just figured this was probably a good first step in my process. In terms of the core details on this card, there is a $99 annual fee. The main value on the card is a companion pass that you get every single year. You actually now have required spend to actually be able to get that each year, but it used to be automatic, and luckily I'm grandfathered into that benefit without any required spend. Then you also get $100 off an Alaska Plus lounge membership. So in terms of how I use the Alaska Airlines credit card right now in current day, I don't really put very much spend on it at all, but I will utilize the companion pass every single year. And I actually just used it when we went over to Kauai. So I was able to reduce the flight costs for my player two from $700 down to $120. For my ranking on the Alaska Airlines credit card, I'm going to put it in the C tier because that companion pass can be difficult to use every single year. And now you do have some required spend to actually be able to get it. But luckily I get it automatically every year. So I'm still able to use it at the very minimum every other year, and every year if I possibly can, to be able to get some significant value from that pass. The second credit card that I got in my credit card journey was the Chase Freedom Flex. In terms of why I applied for the Freedom Flex when I did, I was just now starting to learn a little bit more about the credit card landscape and what I wanted to get. And so I knew it was important to start off with Chase, and I knew I wanted to start to build out my Chase trifecta. So I figured the Freedom Flex was a good starting point, and I also got the 5x back on rotating quarterly categories. The core details on the Chase Freedom Flex is that it does have a $0 annual fee, and you get 5x back on rotating quarterly categories, which does include popular spend categories like grocery stores, gas stations, or dining. In terms of how I utilize the Freedom Flex right now in current day, to be honest, I'm still going through new welcome bonuses and new cards at a velocity to where I don't really get around to using my Freedom Flex very often. But if there is a really good rotating quarterly category, I will sometimes spend on the Freedom Flex to get 5x back in that category. For my own ranking, in terms of where I think the Freedom Flex would fit in my current credit card setup, I'm going to put it in the C tier because, simply put, I think it's about average. The next credit card that I got in my credit card journey is the Hilton Honors Card. In terms of why I applied for the Hilton Honors Card at the time that I did, there was an elevated welcome offer that was available. This was an entryway into the Hilton ecosystem for me. Then I was also starting to think about different honeymoon redemptions that I could possibly make. And I knew there were some good Hilton options, so I wanted to rack up as many Hilton Honors points as I could. The core details on the Hilton Honors Card are a $0 annual fee, the ability to get automatic Hilton Silver status, and then typically an elevated offer that comes along with the card as well. In terms of how I utilize the Hilton Honors Card right now, I do just put a small reoccurring charge on the card, since I do have some other higher tier Hilton credit cards, so I don't have any use for the Hilton Honors Card. In terms of my ranking for the Hilton Honors Card, I'm gonna put this card in the B tier. It's not like that special, but it also does frequently have elevated offers that can allow you to rack up a significant amount of Hilton Honors points. It's kind of like an entryway into the Hilton ecosystem, so you can upgrade from this card as well. And then again, it has a $0 annual fee, so there's no downside. Before I move on, let me introduce you to Kudos. Stop using tools like Rakuten, Capital One Shopping, and Credit Karma, and instead just use Kudos. Kudos is a free AI-powered browser extension that allows you to earn more credit card rewards when you shop online. Think of Kudos as Rakuten, Credit Karma, and Apple Pay all in one. Kudos is like honey, but better. Kudos will help you pick the best card to use at over 3 million stores to guarantee that you'll always earn the highest rewards, points, or cash back. Kudos is like NerdWallet, but easier to use. With Kudos' exclusive partnership with the Points Guy, you can discover new credit cards and get access to the best welcome bonuses that are available. And finally, Kudos is like Apple Pay. With Kudos, you never have to fill out your credit card info ever again. Just select the credit card that you want to use and Kudos will autofill your card info with just one click. And the best part, Kudos is completely free. So if you're ready to start earning more credit card rewards, points, and cash back, then click the link below and use the code MATT to get $20 back after your first eligible purchase. Get more out of your credit cards with Kudos. All right, the next credit card that I got in my credit card journey is the Hilton Surpass. The reason that I applied for the Hilton Surpass card was a similar thought process to the Hilton Honors card. So I knew I had my honeymoon redemption that was coming up, and there was an elevated offer on the Hilton Surpass for me to rack up a significant amount of Hilton Honors points. So I simply took advantage of that offer and also wanted to get Hilton Gold status as well. During my wedding year, we also had a bunch of additional expenses, obviously related to that wedding. So I put $15,000 in spending on my Surpass card to get an additional free night award. And so I was able to use that free night award at the Waldorf Astoria in Cancun during my honeymoon. The core details on the Surpass card now is there is a $150 annual fee. You again do get automatic Hilton Gold status, an ability to spend towards a Hilton free night award, as well as a $200 Hilton credit. In terms of how I utilize the Hilton Surpass card right now, I do get the automatic Hilton Gold status from the card, and then I liquidate the $200 Hilton credit by buying Hilton gift cards. I will rank the Hilton Surpass card in the B tier because there are opportunities for elevated offers. Again, you get automatic Hilton Gold status, which allows for things like room upgrades. And then the Hilton gift card route is a great way to get to the annual fee just for that Hilton credit. Next up, we have the Chase Freedom Unlimited. The reason that I applied it for the Chase Freedom Unlimited is again with the Chase ecosystem and the ability to build into the Chase trifecta. And then the Freedom Unlimited would act as my catch-all card to get 1.5x back on all purchases as well. So the core details on the Chase Freedom Unlimited right now is that there is a $0 annual fee. And again, the ability to use this card as a catch-all card to get 1.5x back on all purchases, which are going to be Chase points, which I think is the most valuable points currency that is out there. In terms of how I utilize the Chase Freedom Unlimited right now, I will sometimes use it as a catch-all card, but I've also more or less moved on from it since I do now have the Capital One Venture X that gets me 2x Capital One miles on all purchases. I'm going to rank the Chase Freedom Unlimited in the C tier because it is an option as a catch-all card, but I would say for most people you can graduate from it, and I somewhat have already with the Venture X. Next up, we have the Chase Sapphire Preferred. The reason that I applied it for the Sapphire Preferred is I did have to wait about a year or so because I was locked in Chase jail and I was really anxious to get the card because I already had points in my Chase account from the Freedom Flex and the Freedom Unlimited, and I wasn't actually able to redeem those points how I wanted to because I needed that Sapphire Preferred to be able to transfer those points out to Chase's travel partners, which again, as someone who's on team travel, is what I always want to do. The core details on the Sapphire Preferred right now is that there is a $95 annual fee, but there is a $50 hotel credit that can help to offset some of that fee. You get 25% higher value through the Chase travel portal, then most importantly, the ability to transfer points out to Chase's travel partners. In terms of how I utilize the Chase Sapphire Preferred right now, I do utilize it as my Chase travel card. So I've made a couple redemptions over the past couple of years where basically I've transferred Chase points out to Chase's travel partners and then gotten as high value as I could. In terms of my ranking for the Chase Sapphire Preferred, I'm going to put it in the B tier. Some people might rank it lower because it is a bad earning card. And there are other options to be your Chase Travel Upside card, like the Sapphire Reserve or the Ink Preferred, but the Chase Sapphire Preferred is still going to be the best option for me. The next card that I applied for is the American Express Gold card. In terms of why I applied for the Amex Gold card, well, I am a foodie, so my two highest spend categories are for dining and grocery stores, and that is only accelerated now that I've moved into the city of Seattle. Also, I was already utilizing food delivery services a couple times a month anyways, So I'm able to utilize the Uber and dining credits really naturally within my organic spending. In terms of the core details on the American Express Gold Card right now, you do get $240 worth of credits. So the $10 monthly statement credits for dining and Uber, and then you can use Uber Eats for the Uber credit. And that's how it was just up to just recently at the time of recording this video because there were some significant changes. Now the annual fee has increased from $250 to $325. But those $120 dining and Uber credits are still the same. To make up for that annual fee increase, American Express added a $100 Resi credit that is split up into two $50 semi-annual increments, and then a $84 Dunkin' credit that is split up into $7 monthly statement credits. I'm relatively indifferent to those changes. You never like to see an annual fee increase, and I don't even have any Dunkin' Donuts anywhere near my area, but I do think that I can utilize the Resi credit to just book one date night twice per year to be able to use that credit. So in terms of how I'm actually utilizing the American Express Gold Card right now, I'm still utilizing the Uber and dining credits and using those statement credits every single month. Whenever I'm not spending towards a welcome offer at the time, then my Amex Gold Card becomes the most used credit card in my wallet because again, dining and grocery stores are my two highest spend categories. And then my plan is going to be to utilize the Resi credit for the second half of the year. So I'm going to go on the Resi website or the Resi app and take a look at the different dining options in the Seattle area and hopefully liquidate that credit. In terms of my ranking for the American Express Gold Card, I am going to put it in the A tier. I know this may ruffle some feathers, but I genuinely can get close to offsetting the annual fee just with the credits, and that's even with the annual fee increase. And then it's going to be a daily driver card for me long term since right now I'm living in the city, so I spend a lot on dining. And then when I do have a future family, I think this can be really valuable for the higher spend that I'll have in grocery stores and categories like that. And overall, I do think the Amex Gold Card can still be valuable for the right people. The next credit card that I got in my credit card journey is the Hilton Honors Business. The reason that I applied it for the Hilton Honors Card is that I was able to take advantage of an elevated welcome offer to rack up more Hilton Honors points. And then at the same time, I wanted to prioritize my 524 status. So it made a lot of sense to go for a business credit card right now. In terms of the core details on the Hilton Business Card, the annual fee has been increased pretty significantly to $195, but there has been some changes to the card, such as a $240 Hilton credit, but then the removal of the ability to spend towards a Hilton Free Night Award. So in terms of how I utilize the Hilton Business Card right now, I did ultimately decide to cancel the card, partly because of some of the changes, so the increased annual fee and the removal of some benefits, but also because there was just so much crossover between the Surpass card and the business card. So I really didn't need both, and I decided to cancel the Hilton Honors Business. In terms of my ranking for the Hilton Business Card, I'm actually going to put this card in the D tier because I think it's just a worse version of the Hilton Surpass, and I'm not a huge fan of the changes that were made to the card. The next credit card that I got in my credit card journey was the American Express Business Gold Card. The reason that I applied for the American Express Business Gold Card is because I was able to get a significant amount of American Express points from the elevated welcome offer. I was also able to utilize the Grubhub credit, and then I wanted to continue to prioritize my 524 status by getting another business credit card. In terms of the core details on the business gold card right now, there is a $375 annual fee. There's a flexible business credit and a Grubhub Plus credit, and then a couple 4X categories where you have the ability to choose. So you can choose between like restaurants, gas stations, and a couple other choices as well. In terms of how I utilize the business gold card right now, I did ultimately decide to cancel the card. I always knew this was a potential possibility, but I wanted to test it out during the first year, and I knew I was going to be able to get a good amount of year one value. So it was still worth it for me while it was. In terms of my ranking for the Amex Business Gold Card, I am going to put it in the D tier because I do think it's really difficult to get positive value with the structure of the card. I don't think the credits are that good, and it's basically just a worse version of the personal Amex Gold Card. Next up, we have the Marriott Bonvoy Business. The reason that I applied for the Bonvoy Business is I was able to get 3 free night awards from the welcome offer that I utilized in Medellin, Colombia earlier this year. I got Marriott Gold Elite status, and it's a keeper card due to the free night award. In terms of the core details on the Bonvoy Business, you have a $125 annual fee. You do get that free night award, which is worth up to 35,000 Marriott points that can offset that annual fee. And then again, you also get Marriott Gold Elite status as well. So in terms of how I utilize the Bonvoy business card right now, I'm going to continue to keep it open long term because I get more value out of that 35K Marriott Free Night Award than the annual fee. And then I get Marriott Gold Elite status on top of that, which can be valuable for some of my international trips. In terms of my ranking for the Marriott Bonvoy business, I would rank it in the B tier. I do really like the Marriott ecosystem. I can get positive value from the Free Night Award, and Marriott Gold Elite status is just the cherry on top. Next up, we have the Chase Ink Unlimited. The reason that I applied for the Chase Ink Unlimited is I was able to take advantage of an elevated offer to get 90,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points. Plus, the Ink Unlimited would be my business catch-all card to get 1.5x back on all purchases. In terms of the core details, this is pretty straightforward. There's basically a $0 annual fee, and then you get 1.5x back on all purchases. In terms of how I utilize the Chase Ink Unlimited right now, again, it is my business catch-all card, so I use it for any business expenses related to this YouTube channel. So as an example, I use the Ink Unlimited to pay for my editing service. In terms of my ranking for the Ink Unlimited, I'm actually going to put it in the A tier because it does have a $0 annual fee, so there's no downside, along with pretty much the best welcome offers that you can possibly get for a $0 fee card. And then again, the core purpose of being a business catch-all card. Next up, we have the Chase World of Hyatt card. The reason that I applied it for the Chase World of Hyatt card is because there was a slightly elevated welcome offer to receive up to 65,000 Hyatt points. Then I was also able to get a free night award at a category 1 through 4 Hyatt property, which is going to offset the annual fee that I would be paying. The core details on the card is, again, it does have a $95 annual fee, but you will get a Hyatt free night award valued up to a category 4 property. You get Hyatt Discover status, which isn't that much, but it's at least something. And then in terms of how I actually utilize the card now, I basically just utilize the free night award to offset the annual fee. I'm going to rank the Chase World of Hyatt card in the C tier because you do get the free night award, but it's not too good, and it's definitely not as valuable as some free night awards on some other credit cards. But you still do have a path to positive value, so it's a fine card. Next up, we have the Capital One Venture X. The reason that I applied for the Capital One Venture X is because I've wanted this card for a really long time. It was my entryway into premium credit cards, and there's an easy way to offset the annual fee with the benefits and credits that you get on the card. In terms of the core details on the Venture X right now, there is a $395 annual fee. But you do get a $300 annual travel credit and 10,000 bonus miles each year that can get you more value than the annual fee. And then you also get other benefits like access to Capital One lounges and Priority Pass lounges, and experience credit through Capital One's Premier Hotel Collection, and more. So in terms of how I utilize the Capital One Venture X right now, I actually just utilized the travel credit to book flights down to San Francisco to visit a good friend from college. And I'm also going to Washington, D.C. later in the month. So what I'm actually going to be able to do is utilize the card to go to the Capital One Lounge in DC, which I've heard is super nice. And then in addition to that, I also plan to add my wife Lucia as an authorized user on the card as well. In terms of my ranking for the Venture X, I'm going to put the Capital One Venture X in the S tier because it is the best credit card in my current setup. Capital One as an issuer does have some downsides, but the Venture X is great for simplicity, but then also has some higher tier luxury benefits as well. Okay, next up, one of my most recent credit cards is the IHG Premier Business. The reason that I applied for this card is because I did have the ability to receive an elevated welcome offer to receive up to 175,000 IHG points. But then in addition to that, I've also been really interested in getting into the IHG ecosystem for a while. The core details on the IHG Premier Business card is there is a $99 annual fee, but you do get a free night award worth up to 40,000 IHG points, which can right away offset that. And then you also do get your 4th night free when you book a stay with points, which is kind of the best in this hotel category. Plus you get IHG Platinum Elite status, which is the second highest status with IHG. So in terms of how I utilize the IHG Premier Business right now, I'm going to utilize the free night award every single year just to make sure that I'm getting positive value. Then I'll also get value out of the 4th night free benefit as well as IHG Platinum Elite status. In terms of my ranking for the IHG Premier Business card, I'm going to put it in the A tier because not only is the free night award really strong to right away get positive value, but there is also a historically strong welcome offer. There's that 4th night free benefit and then IHG Platinum Elite status as well. Finally, my most recent credit card that I got was the Delta Business Gold card. In terms of why I applied for the Delta Business Gold card, I took advantage of an elevated offer to get 75,000 Delta SkyMiles, which I'm going to be using directly towards flights to Oaxaca, Mexico later this year. Then I also get a $0 introductory annual fee during the first year, which I think is really valuable to be able to test out the waters during the first year and see if I'm getting value from the card and if I want to continue holding it long term without actually having any downside during the first year. I'm also going to be utilizing the Delta Stays credit towards a hotel stay in Vancouver, Canada next month. That I'm also, for this year, since I'm already putting the spend towards the elevated offer, I'm going to put an enough spend to actually get the Delta flight credit as well. So basically, you need to put $10,000 in spend on the card in 1 calendar year, and then you get a $200 Delta flight credit. I almost never would actually do that, but since I'm already putting a lot of spend on the card anyways, for the welcome offer, obviously, I think I'm going to put the extra spend to get the flight credit as well. In terms of my ranking for the Delta SkyMiles and Business Gold card, I'm going to put it in the B tier because I think you could make the argument for being A tier if I'm basing it off of this year. Again, because you get a $0 introductory annual fee, and that's pretty unique. But I think if we're just basing it off the long-term value, I think it's slightly above average if I'm thinking on this card long term. In conclusion, credit cards are different for everybody in terms of what value that you're able to get and which credit cards make the most sense. But I would be curious to hear from all of you on which rankings that you might change and which cards you would actually rank higher or maybe even lower. So let me know down in the comments which rankings you think I got right and which ones you think I got wrong. And if you enjoyed this video, then go watch this video next where I go over some big Chase credit card mistakes that you want to avoid. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.